Gray Yates is now in his fourth season as the head coach at Mount De Sales, and we saw improvement last year from 3-8 to from 1-9 to 3-8. So, I mean, that's a step. And you thought when you got this job a couple of years ago, Coach, that this might be the year that these guys that are with you now, and look, you've got nine starters back on offense and defense. Not many people are going to be able to say that on these segments, but you thought that you were going to build up to this year. Puts a lot of pressure on you, right? But I mean, to have that development and progress, and now, okay, let's see what happens this year. Is that the mindset right now?
That's the mindset, and I think going into our senior meetings in the spring, in the springtime, going into summer, you knew you had a great group of senior guys and guys who could play, and that we've had great guys and a few guys, but in our senior classes, but this was the group where you have guys who are good players and also great leaders, and then you can start building. We've got some young guys we really did hone in and say this was the year that kind of the rebuilding process is over. Let's go out and play some football.
Did you feel that even last year with a slight improvement? Did you feel that they were kind of starting to, lack of a better term, getting it?
Yeah, you sit in a region ball game making rivalry, and we're up 15-2 at halftime, and you look at that ball game. We're still in the playoffs. You saw strides, and from a quarterback standpoint, you saw Xavion making plays against the people he should have been making plays against. You
Hmm.
go win a few ball games, and now it's time to go make plays against everybody. And so those are the kind of steps we need to start seeing, not just from him, but across the board from those nine starters and the guys who are trying to replace him.
All right, defensively, nine starters back, as we said. Linebackers your strength. You got a kid, Jackson Rally, you're excited about kind of leading
Yeah.
your defense.
Yeah, Jackson has been a great player for us for 2 years at linebacker. He led GIA in tackles, which is not always a good thing because it means you're on the field a lot defensively. But he's the playmaker. And then the other linebacker that we're really excited about is Caleb Linder, who is one of the more physical specimens on our team. Another senior, another guy who falls in that class of guys who can do it right. And then Carson Coley is our third linebacker, who's another senior who's played a lot of snaps for us. So you've got three guys in our linebacking core who have just done it, not only done it at a high level for Jackson and turning into it consistently for Caleb. So those three guys as the leaders at the linebacking core really kind of excite us, and we think we're going to get a lot of production out of them.
First game on the 15th against Loganville Christian, and the offense is going to be important for this team. We'll talk about that with Coach Yates in our next report. Mount De Sales Cavaliers coming off a 3-8 season, looking for improvement in the fourth year for Gray Yates as the head coach. All right, you got a quarterback, third year starter now, who's a junior, Xavion DeShazer, who has a lot of experience under his belt. And look, you're kind of putting pressure on yourself by having expectations this year, which means there's going to be pressure on that young man, right? I mean, he's got to go out there and perform and do well.
He does. And we're excited about him. I don't think there's any doubt. He's talented and he is a good player. Now it's about him doing the things that he can do best to win us football games. And yeah, I told you I fired myself as the offensive coordinator over the offseason so I could bring somebody in who knows how to win high school football games and handle quarterback play for a guy like him who can run the football and can throw it. He's only 40 yards away from being the school's leading passer all time, and
Wow.
he hadn't taken a snap as a junior. Um, but we're going to run the football, and there were a couple of games this past year where we didn't end up winning that I thought we should have been more competitive in. And I just thought offensively, had we been able to run the football a little bit better, had we able to centered our attack on what he was doing, what he's capable of in the run game, we would have been more successful in 2 to 3 ball games that I can really pinpoint back in my mind. So we brought in Lee Hamner as an offensive coordinator from Pacelli, and we're looking for a lot more production out of Zay and a lot more execution from some of our other guys. Jackson will be a big part of that. We talked about him in the first segment. Braylon Mitchell at wide out, got a couple of running backs we hope can kind of moving forward, but a lot of good experience up front. another guy named CJ Story who started for 3 years for us on that side of the ball. Horace Sanford's another good lineman for us. So we just got some pieces to help Zay, be more productive, make easier decisions, and then hopefully bring everybody in. And now we can throw the ball a little bit easier down the field. But it's going to be centered around him, and we got to get him more production and got to get in the end zone more. And that's why kind of some of the switches are needed to be made.
I'm glad you fired a coordinator. It's always good to blame the coordinator first before the head coach, right?
Hey, very easy now, just sitting back in practice. Just hey, I can be much more observant,
That's
and
right.
it's helped a lot. But yeah, I was joking with Jeff Ratliff the other day over at Gatewood because after our ball game, I actually told him that I'd fired myself that night. So I did give myself a couple of extra weeks, severance there at the end from the coordinator position. So
Absolutely. All right, real quick, let's don't bury the lead here. If you're going to be better, you got to beat those teams in your
yeah,
own backyard. I
that's
mean,
right.
we know about these four Macon teams. We'll leave John Millage out of this conversation for a minute, real quick. But you gotta go out there and compete and beat either Tatnall, Stratford, FPD, right?
Right. Yeah, those are the three ones that everybody cares about. And in 2015, when I came over here for the first time and was with Hatcher, we beat FPD. We beat a good FPD team, and we won two ball games that year. But we beat FPD, and that catapulted us to the next year for that young group to win. That's the experience we have on coaching staff now. We've got to find somebody and beat somebody we don't think we can.
Yeah.
And that's how you go you're doing this consistently to okay, well, we got to have a frame shift, and we got to tee it up and we got that opportunity when Deerfield Windsor rolls in and coming off a state championship in game two. That's another trophy case team that we've got to be
Mhm.
prepared for to play. And then when those region ball games come in, those rivalry games, you know what Collier's going to bring at FPD. Stratford's going to be up. The legend of GIA coaching is back in the league with Coach Hester at Tatnall. So you know what you're going to get. We've got to play better football to beat teams that are better, and so that's where it starts. And hopefully we've been focused on those things all summer to get the job done.
There'll be a lot of good games coming up this year. Coach, thank you very much. Good luck to you this season.
Absolutely, Bill. Thank you.